Today I'm going to talk about the last of the patterns on this 4-pattern sheet, and this is the one that has Brabant ground on it. This is the marking in the centre of this pattern, and they're worked in a slightly different manner to rose ground and any other grounds that you've come across so far. The fans at the side are worked in exactly the same manner as we've worked on the previous patterns, and we're going to start it off in exactly the same way, down both sides, using the torsion ground, half stitch, pin, half stitch, to get the bookmark started. So we're going to start off with 2 temporary pins above the pattern as before, with a pair hung on each of those pins. Exactly the same as we've done for the last 3 bookmarks. And I'm using the same thread for all of these patterns. The first 3 patterns use 12 pairs and this one uses 14 pairs. So just slightly more on this one. And again I'm going to go down the right hand side first, adding the pairs in so we can work the whole of the Brabant ground block without having to stop. And it's quite important that you do this when you're starting to learn, that you work as far as you can on a pattern so you don't stop and start, because some people would now want to start the Brabant ground but you can only work the first pin. So get all of the pairs on that are going to go into this block, and then we can do all of that ground block in one go and you're less likely to get lost on it. So it's just half stitch, pin, half stitch, as I say, as we've done on the last 3 of the bookmarks. Again I'm using a Finca 40 on it, and this is a nice mint colour which I do like. Once you've done the 4 bookmarks, you don't have to put them in as bookmarks into sleeves. You could actually mount them up as 4 pieces in one frame. I think they'll fit quite nicely in an A4 size frame, and you've got a framed record of your first few pieces of lace. And put together they actually look a lot more substantial than if you just framed one piece. So I'm now moving over to the left side and doing the same on the left side. Again, half stitch, pin, half stitch, just to form this outside line. And if you're working all of these bookmarks and you decide you're going to do them all in one go, one after the other, it's sometimes a good idea to actually wind a lot of thread on one of your bobbins and only a metre on the second bobbin, and then you can pull off a metre and rework quite quickly because you're only rewinding one bobbin at a time. The bookmarks I generally say to put about a metre of thread on each of the bobbins, wind them in pairs, but the 2 that are going to be the workers, put 2 metres on each. And this gives you plenty of thread, you won't run out. If you don't know how long a metre is, sometimes a good way of judging it is a good arm's length, a good stretch out to the side from the centre point of your body, and this will generally be approximately a metre and enough for one of these bookmarks. Okay, so we've now got all of the pairs on for this block. As we did with other pieces, we're going to start in the centre. And for Brabant ground, we do half stitch and twist, pin, half stitch and twist. Now if you look at the markings on the pattern, you'll see a continuous dotted line down the outside of each, and then the next row, if you came to look at it, is a gap row. So we have to work those 2 together, and then the next pinhole in this line is taking that one and that one. So one is going diagonally as you would normally work, but one is actually coming vertically. And again on the next one in this line you have a vertical and a diagonal. Then you've got a normal row with each of the pairs coming into the pin, and then a gap row. So make sure you follow the lines on this pattern to get the right pairs at the right pins, and you'll see what I mean in a moment. So we always try and work a long continuous line. So half stitch and twist both pairs once and put the pin in. Half stitch and twist, and then move on to the next one. Half stitch and twist, and we'll continue this down that line. Don't forget to do the twist after the half stitch. I'm almost forgetting to do it sometimes because it's a long while since I actually did the Brabant ground. And I've just been filming the video with the half stitch pin half stitching. And also you might forget having done the row half stitch pin half stitch above it. Okay, so we now come to the next line. As I say, we've got this one coming diagonally, this one coming diagonally for that first pin, just as normal. But then if you look where the pairs actually go after they've done this, they lie on top of those lines, and that tells you exactly where they're going next. Can you see that? So they're going there. So you know that these two are not involved in the next pinhole on that line. We're taking the two and we're taking the pairs that lie over those lines and working the stitch with them to meet in the middle. And this is one that sometimes catches people out until they get their head round following those lines again. And don't forget, if you just start in lace and this is one of the first times you've encountered this, it's a little bit new to you, so be kind to yourself and don't worry if you make too many mistakes, because you do learn from your mistakes as you go. So now you can see that I've got a nice big hole in here, which is what I should have. And we go back to the top of the row, and this time again threads lying over the top of them, and this tells you where to go with the next pairs. Half stitch and twist. If it helps, keep saying that aloud until you get the hang of it. Half stitch and twist. Then we come to this one, we can see those two lines there meet. And we follow the line. This is the long continuous line, and the one in between the continuous lines is the gappy row, where you have to watch where the pairs go on it. So you can now see the size and shape of those holes that are appearing, which is what we need. Back to the top of the row, we're on a gappy row. So the first one is as normal, and then we leave the two pairs and come to the next two pairs to form the next stitch. So we push both of those two pairs to one side and get the next two. And then move the two and get the next two. And back to the top of the line, and the last row is a continuous row. So everyone is taking one in. Just zoom back out just slightly. And you can see now that the pairs are being left out for the cloth stitch fans at the side, as you have done on all the previous videos and previous bookmarks on this series. And so now we've got the first of the Brabant ground blocks done, and we now need to add the last 2 pairs for the cloth stitch fans, and then we're away exactly the same as we did for the last bookmarks. I'll just pop these in on the left hand side just to give you a quick reminder, but I think then you'll be able to complete this bookmark without too many problems. If you've been following them, you should be able to remember some of the lessons we've learnt from the previous patterns and apply them to this one as well. So we're doing we're doing cloth stitch and twist on the edge, half stitch on the brain now, and taking 1 in at each time on the inside edge, coming off the Brabant ground blocks. Putting an extra twist on the worker pair as it goes around the pin, just to strengthen those threads. If you ever get a broken thread, it's usually where you've tensioned it around the pin, and this just ensures that this reduces the chance of breaking it. Although at this scale of thread, you would have to be quite fierce with your thread to break it, unless there was a fault in the thread, which does occasionally happen. So as before, you can see the cloth stitch fan appearing. I'm not taking too much time over the fans, and it's all been covered on the previous videos. And you just repeat this all the way down the bookmark. You finish as we finished on a previous video. I showed you how to finish on a separate video, and you have the 4th bookmark then finished. After this, I suggest you go on to doing an edging so you can experience doing a corner, which is a little bit different. And again, just test your theories and how you work the pattern out, but it's not too difficult. It's not too much of a progression from a straight piece. So I hope you've enjoyed watching the torsion ones. There's lots more videos out there, both of my channel and a lot of other good lace makers. But if there's anything you particularly want to see, I'm happy to receive requests, even if I don't get to them very quickly. Sometimes life gets in the way, as it has done recently. I will get around to doing them when they're on the list. So let me know what you want to see next. Give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. That really helps my figures. And it also helps so that you're notified when new videos come out. It doesn't cost you anything to do, and it's a great way to follow and get lace making seen around the world. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you watch some more videos soon.